Why must the trust have a lawyer? After it's ratified, can the property owner go pro per like a crook?
So, again, that was the overlay in Senate Bill 80, and that version. The really important thing is to just get an appeal in regardless if it's a trust. And make sure that you can go ahead and mark it that you may or may not have an attorney in the future. That's the most important thing, is to get the appeal in, to get in the queue.
Okay, thank you. Why did I get notices for my property that does not have a residence or structure on it? You have a tax lot, so that's why you got the notice. Unless anybody else has anything to say about that. Okay. Will this also protect us from logging company land, BLM, and Douglas County Road Department right of way? I don't know the answer to that either. I'm not sure I understand the question. Will this also protect, who asked this question? Go ahead, stand up and ask it.
Okay. The BLM aren't cleaning up their land, it starts on them. What's someone gonna do about that? What about private logging companies who have property? They should be affected by this. But anyway, Douglas County left all that crap right on their right of way. Somebody throws out a cigarette, we're gonna have to talk.
Good comment. I'm not sure that I want to tackle that one. I'll let you go ahead, Alec or David.
Yeah, I do have legislation in the queue this session that will allow the individual local jurisdictions, counties, and cities to go ahead and deal with their right-of-way issues without having, hazard trees, without having to go through the Oregon Forest Practices Act. That could be helpful in this area, but no, as far as the limbing machines that go by, that they leave the material, usually they do it in this time of year, so that by the time the summertime goes around, it's pretty decayed.
Well, okay, so at the end of the day, what this bill is it's blaming private property owners for the mismanagement of our forests by the federal government. They're trying to put this all on you like you're the problem, and that's why, again, email Senator Golden, tell him to go with Noah Robinson's bill. That's the solution right now. If we have a better solution going forward, we'll let you know.
Out of curiosity, Jerry, did you talk to the county? Okay. Okay, I do want to stress one thing. I've had several people mention to me that they want the county to do a blanket appeal, and they want the county to basically go to bat for them. The county is not the people that got us in this mess. The legislature got us in this mess, and the legislature is going to have to get us out of this mess. So our commissioners, even though I know all three county commissioners here disagree with this bill, there's not much they can do at this point except oppose it and stand by the legislature to continue to fight it. Okay, let's see. What is the wildland urban interface? I know you kind of said it, but I'll let you re-answer that.
It's a line that they put on the map that shows where you have housing density of at least one house for every 40 acres. So if there's areas where you've got 160 or the 320, that's not within for the acronyms, WUI. So it's mainly along the creek bottoms and along the county roads where you have the houses and the tax lots that stick up close to that kind of an access. They're just normal land use development patterns. And so that's the WUI at one house for every 40 acres. It could be 2, 3, 5, 10. Along my road, I've got some 20 acres and 40 acres and 1 and 2s. So along that stretch of the area, that's all in the WUI. But then I've got one that's down the road a little bit, and he's basically got a BLM and a industrial ownership behind him. He's not in the WOI, but the house has got the same issues as mine. It's just part of that way they make things. And they make it easier for them to try and regulate us.
Alec has a question. We're gonna put this one to the front, so Alec can ask it.
So this question says, Jeff Golden owns land in the Ashland area that is left out of this map that should be included. That is gerrymandering. What can we do to charge him with gerrymandering? Well, I don't think gerrymandering is formally a crime, but needless to say, the Democrats do gerrymander the state of Oregon, and I don't want to make this too partisan, but the fact that he himself is not included in the fire map that he drew and he advocated for just tells you everything you need to know about politicians at large, except us, of course, but it tells you a hell of a lot about Jeff Golden. And so please, for the 100th time, write him an email, call his office phone, let him know that you're pissed off about this, because he needs to hear it, and he and his little not red area on the map down in Ashland, he needs to know how mad the rest of the state is at him for this.
Real quick, back to the Douglas County Commissioners, Senator Brocksmith and I have worked with them for many years, all of us have, on fire awareness, prevention, response, suppression, and recovery. So I've got 3 documents here. I'll just read the titles real quick. We've been working on for a long time, and we're just gonna keep working. The hardest part of this system that they've developed is that if you have a fire start on your property, you will be held accountable. When it comes to the federal government, or even the state, which is not as common, of course, they're never held accountable. And that's what we gotta change by legislation. I know, and thank you. Real quick, rebuilding Southern California, Oregon lumber and plywood mills have solutions. 18 Oregon counties, Bureau of Land Management, ONC Forest Lands. If you want copies of any of this, let me know. Learning from California, Oregon 2024 record-breaking fire, Solutions 19. This is how we go to the new president administration and say, this is how we get back to good forest management in Oregon, and how we stop these catastrophic fires that are destroying 1.9 million acres in 2024 in Oregon. For a visual, that is 1 million football fields. 1 million football fields. Finally, Oregon Governor Emergency Declaration, we want her to declare a fire emergency declaration for 2025. We're not ready, and we've been beating the drum. We're doing everything we can as a minority party. Stay tuned. And also I have one here on gun bills that we're faced with this year. So if you want that, coachcord@gmail.com. Thank you for the time. I'll be quiet the rest of the day, Virgil.
Thanks, Kurt. We'll keep the gun bills for very last if we run out of questions. I do want to point out the fact that Jeff Golden, and we're picking on him, and he's a Democrat, and it's just, that's life, that's what happens. But he's very concerned. He actually emailed me, and he actually talked to me in person and on the phone about, he's worried about the results of tonight. But he actually, believe it or not, he was going to show up here. And I encouraged him to be busy doing something else. So, anyway, okay, so I have a question here. Let's see, let me go back to, can legal voters ask our representatives to represent our towns as plaintiffs? I'm not an attorney. I don't know that that's a possibility, but I don't know that it's not. Yeah, it's written in hieroglyphics. Let's see. Can legal voters ask our representatives to represent our towns as plaintiffs?
I don't believe so, because of the rules associated with the OARs and the ORSs that came out of the legislation in Senate Bill 80 that set up the appeal process. What do you think, Bob?
If I could, that's correct. They could sue or.
So before you finish your answer, who are you?
Unless Poole.
All right, hey Les.
Sorry for interrupting.
Thank you. I didn't mean to interrupt you. I just want to
I
know.
just wanted to say that So if your county,
Let's say your county has property that is not zoned or is subject to this, they can represent the county's property, likewise the city. So a jurisdiction could be a plaintiff on public property, but when you ask them to start jumping in individually, unless we've all been injured, there's a class action, and that's really not there yet from what I understand. By the way, while I got the microphone, I'm going to deliver a blockbuster report that completely tears apart and goes to the bottom of all their calculations and how they got there. It is excellent. It'll be on our website. I'm going to make sure you all get it. And thank you for quieting down court so I could take over.
All right, so the next question, 3,000 of the 6,000 structures burned in the 8 Labor Day fires burnt in Alameda fire between Medford and Ashland along Highway 99. Why is that area fire rated as moderate? Probably because they were done nothing well, right? Everything's burned out. I don't know. I honestly don't know the answer to that question. Anybody want to take a stab at why that got put into moderate?
Because technically, I'm just spitballing here, because I believe technically it wasn't really in a WUI. It was more of an urban setting that came through the Bear Creek. The Bear Creek corridor had vegetation. There was also some issues with regards to other homelessness and the stuff that.
It was probably in the moderate before.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's moderate before and it's moderate now.
Yeah.
So nothing in this would affect
Yeah.
the fire in Phoenix County.
Okay, what is Les Pool's website?
sorry,
30 seconds.
I
30
just
seconds.
have shared this here. We literally decided to make it so easy to put it on our website that the gentleman finished this yesterday. I just got back from Southern California, been driving 2 days, so bear with me, but I'll get it to you folks so we can announce it. By the way, I was there for the fires. Amen. Terrible.
Okay, so why don't we do this? There's a Facebook site, social media site called I don't know, Oregon Wildfire or something. There's a lot of people on it. We'll make sure that that gets put up on there so you guys can take a look at it. What is it called? Yeah, I joined it like yesterday.
ODF.
Okay, why is this issue not a proposition voted on by citizens? Well, because it wasn't raised as a proposition and put out, it just wasn't put out that way. It was done by the legislature. Yeah. Yeah, I don't disagree with that. Dan, you want to fire away at that one? What the difference would be between a proposition? Yeah. So elections have consequences. Yeah. Okay. Can you see? Can you put in more than one appeal? I know people who put in one and thought of something else to add.
Talked to ODF, they said you can file one appeal for your lot, but you can amend it. So put it in as an amendment if you find more issues that you want to address. If you have multiple tax lots, you can file one appeal for all of your tax lots at once, so you don't have to recreate everything.
There you go.
Thank you, Bob. This one's next one pretty easy. Let's see. I live in a moderate risk. Do I need to file an appeal? The answer is yes. Everybody should file appeals. We should be flooding our. You want to add to that?
The ORS doesn't provide for moderates to appeal, only high.
Okay, I've been corrected.
I file it anyway, I don't give it in.
I mean, we got to do everything we can do here, guys. Let's see. All right, number one. How and who enforces it? Are you notifying of inspections? I am not enforcing any of it. I do not do the inspections. That would be ODF, Oregon Department of Forestry. I'll turn that to Bob.
this bill started out at 22 pages. So there's a whole lot, and I've been dealing with this for years, so that's why I'm kind of involved with this. The way it's set up is administrative rules are in a draft form from the state fire marshal. I asked them directly, are we supposed to wait for you to contact us to have an inspection? Do we clean it up first? Or do we have them come out and tell us what they want and then have a time frame for correction? What are they going to do? They said, we don't have that yet. It's not even drafted. So we still have a chance to try and break it out.
Thank you, Bob. Okay. How to amend and, gosh dang, I'm working hard here. I did go to school. How to amend, I don't know what that says. Oh, okay, this is just talking about appeals and how to amend it to add, and he just talked about that, how to amend it. Will this PowerPoint be available online after this meeting?
I'll put it on undo 762.
Yes, it will be on undo 762. Why didn't every Oregonian get an appeal or an opportunity to have a voice? Well, I think you do if you're in the fire risk area, but actually you do all have a voice. And if you really want to join our peaceful protest on the 25th, you should. There'll be several of us speaking at that protest, by the way. I saw something go up on the screen and then I saw it go away. They were taking pictures of whatever you put on the screen, Bob. Why did my wife and I receive a letter? Also, we border BLM. Are they going to make their property fire safe? Yeah. I mean, that's an easy one to answer. And the answer is probably with our new president, they may have to. I kind of like that. Let's see, what could happen to those of us that are zoned farm forest? Trees were planted before we purchased a property which currently gives us a tax break.
Thank you.
They want to take a shot at that one? Well, I'll read it again. Yeah, who asked that question?
No, I think I understand. If your property is basically a small woodland.
Let's give you a microphone.
We purchased our property 25 years ago, and at that time, the former owner had, I don't know how that process worked, but they had agreed to allowing 10 acres to be planted with trees, which would provide a tax break to us. Well, we kind of inherited that when we bought the property. So now we've got 10 extra acres of pine trees. And I want to know how that would affect us.
Yeah, so your question is, are you going to have to cut down your pine trees to be fire
And
safe?
then where's that going to roll after that? Because of the tax break.
So Bob, you might want to jump in on this one too. They have a small woodland. So if your 10 acres of trees are more than 50 feet from your home, then you should be okay. Yeah, and so you're not going to be subject to, you're still going to be able to continue on as a small woodland owner and utilize the tax incentive or tax break that you have.
Yeah. Does that answer your question, sort of? Okay.
This one I'm just curious about. So as farm forest zoning, there were a lot of different things that we could do on our property. One of them was be a tree farm. So as a tree farm, isn't this counterproductive, saying, hey, listen, that's your business, I'll give you a tax discount regarding that, but now all of a sudden we're gonna tell you you can't have insurance because you're a tree farm, because you're gonna burn down.
I think, I agree, and I think the whole purpose of this is that we're ideally gonna get this fixed, whether it's from Noah Robinson's bill, or if we force Jeff Golden to fix it. one way or another it's gonna get fixed, so let's hold all the specifics until we can get this fixed or not. But thank you.
Okay, I just got a good one here. I'm gonna put it in front of everything else because it's kind of, I think it's pertinent. And isn't PP&L responsible for keeping lines clear of personal property? They're responsible for the right of way. That's all. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So if it goes through your personal property, the right of way, they would be responsible for keeping.
That is correct.
Yeah. You want to answer that?
That is correct. They're required to manage their right of way, if you will, associated with the power lines.
But they don't do it.
Then you need to reach out to us, and so that we can tell them to do it, and on your behalf. Normally, whenever a legislator reaches out, I mean, is everyone happy that we got the railroad fixed, as you could go down Eden Bower and take a left to finally got the road fixed? I don't know how many emails I got over that, but I finally got a hold of the railroad and said, damn it, I'm done. So, I mean, it doesn't, so please reach out to your legislator, and we will advocate on your behalf and make sure that we have the address and the tax law and where your property is, so that we can get a hold of them and give them that information to get them out there and do the work that they're supposed to be doing.
Okay, the question on PP&L, they are responsible for vegetation management within their easement. So if it's within their easement, they're supposed to keep it clear from their power lines. A part of 762 required the power companies to come up with a wildfire plan of what they are going to do to reduce their impacts or their liability. It's a two-edged sword. Part of it is they're supposed to manage it better. The other part is they're going to be shutting power off during high fire areas or high fire time frames, and then we don't have any power to run our pumps and our wells, or there are refrigerators, or if you've got medical equipment, you don't have any power, you can't run it. So it's a two-edged sword.
And but if we were forcing them to make sure that they were dealing with the vegetation within their easements, it would reduce the risk, their risk. That's correct.
Okay, so I'm going to step out of order just a little bit. This gentleman right here had a question, not you, Jerry, right behind you, but you're next, and you had a question pertinent to that other question.
More of a state, I was dealing with power line companies. I talked to the foreman, they wanted to drop the heat rate, they were doing a cleanup, they were moving the power line. And I don't know if this is true, the foreman said that this is coming from Bonneville, they're dishing out their farms, they don't clear their property. Now, they're buying your lot, the lines are running through, the easement's buried. So this is just for single family residents, so the easements, the center line are 15 feet. The major power line is area anywhere from 30 feet or beyond, depending upon major power lines from Bonneville or 300 feet. So they, this is the
Douglas Electric.
yeah, they're for, again, I'm really honest, but he was very fervent that they're gonna get fined by Bonneville. A certain amount of hurries, that's why they're going mad.
Yeah, I don't know if everybody had heard that or not, but you're correct. I actually spoke with Douglas Electric today to a gentleman, and we had that same discussion. So I assumed it was 30 feet from center, or maybe even 40 from center, but it's 15, which the trees are 100 feet taller on my property, so. Okay. Yeah. Okay, all right, I'm gonna step out of order again, because Jerry had a question.
I had a tree that was close to the power lines. They came, sent someone out and trimmed it for me. Now, they butchered the tree, but they fixed it.
So I can assure you, the power companies are paying attention right now, because guess what? They just got sued, some of them. And they're paying a lot of money in the lawsuit that they lost, so they better be. Question, can we fight this as unconstitutional? I'd argue, yeah. I think it is unconstitutional. I think they're trying to grab your land from you. Yeah. So, and I encourage everybody to come to the rally. I mean, and like what Alex said, Jeff Golden needs to hear this, and so does the governor. And I know she's paying attention because I actually talked to her myself. And what she's going to do about it, who knows? What could happen to those of us that are zoned farm forest, trees were planted? Yeah, we already got to that question, sorry. What is the best way to stop relentless attacks by Golden? How many appeals to stop the repeals? Well, I'm invited into this.
He's up for re-election in 2026, and so that's the best way to stop Jeff Golden.
He only lost by 3,000 votes the last time.
That is correct.
Vulnerable, and his issues stays
That is correct.
For sure. Yeah, we need to. So if you are local Douglas County and you're Republican and you're interested, I think you probably already know there's tables and information on Republican Party. I don't want to make this too political. Republican Party chair is Trent Drake. He's sitting here with us. So and these two young ladies over here that are doing all my work, they work for me. They're my staff, and they make me do things right. So it's good. That's Jim Jasper and Diana. And then the guy on the end down there that's running around with the cards, that's Rob Price. He's like kind of like my right-hand man if I need anybody to take care of some serious stuff. Thank you. Okay, so, let's see. Why does the submit button not work on the appeal? We tried multiple days, different times, had to finally scan an email. I don't know that I can answer that. That's probably going to be one of those questions. Probably the same reason our workday program at the state doesn't work either. Let's see. How can we get Doge to investigate this? So sometimes I don't think you guys know how much activity goes on in the background amongst your legislators. And I can tell you that we're heavily engaged. We do have some things that we've taken to Doge, not this, but there's a lot of stuff going on, and the fight never stops. We work a lot of hours to try to, again, I don't want to make it partisan. Let's see, when does the Department of Revenue get involved? And I don't know what that question, let's see. Who asked this question? When does the Department of Revenue get involved and raise property tax based on special assessment? This undoubtedly goes above the 3% increase who asked that question? Okay, now I'm gonna give you the mic. Not sure I totally understand the question.
Yeah, right now, on our property taxes, we get increase 3% a year by statute, right? Okay, the Department of Revenue can now do a special assessment. They're doing it on soils, on some of our properties, and raising the tax as a special assessment. So I get a feeling that this thing is a revenue generator, and that's what they're gonna end up doing with this. Am I right?
Well, I don't know that there's any assessment.
There is a portion in the statute where there was a $25 limit toward that special assessment, and that has been removed. Senator Linthicum did a paper on that. We'll try and put it on the Undo 762 site, so that will highlight that issue. But I don't think that special assessment has anything to do with the 3%, which is a property tax. They're trying to figure out any way around it to try and get more money. And talk to these gentlemen here to stop that kind of thing, just like them trying to take your kicker.
Thank you. In my middle name, they know me by that. I'm anti-tax everything.
Right now, it's 4 and
now, to the local board here. Yes. And, so the question is, it's a map that shows soil, okay, it doesn't put out, so it resembles this map quite a bit, and I get a feeling that once this is adopted, the Department of Revenue, now they raised their tax over the 3% limit by $400. So this right here gives that Department of Revenue to a special adjustment of raising the property taxes, and this could be quite costly property if they're allowed to do.
Thank you for the question. Go ahead.
Yeah, I don't wanna get too off subject, we're trying to just make this about the fire maps, but whoever your state legislature is, talk to them, because if it's one of us, I'm sure it's me. All right, well, come talk to us after this. That sounds like something we'd love to fight, but I just wanna keep all this on subject for now. I will talk to you about it afterwards.
So this is another cool question. I've got 4 questions here, but this one just came in. It says, have you talked to other counterparts, reps? What have they said? Are you working with them together against this fire map? So I think I probably told you guys I'm the Republican Party minority party whip. That's my job, to make sure that our caucus is all talking to each other and hopefully pulling in the same direction. And this is probably the easiest one I have to deal with because we are. Everybody's pulling in the right direction. So that's a good thing. Jason?
This is a nonpartisan issue. Democrats need to get on board as well to try and repeal this, because it affects everybody. It's not a partisan matter.
And as I mentioned before, there is talk, we're all engaged, some more than others, right, because, you know, I was there, and Golden's a senator, and so, the concern is that we know we need to fix it, and so others want to put other things in it, and I'm trying to tell them no. There's time in the legislative process. If you want to go ahead and deal with paying wildfire funding and all of that, it needs to be separate legislation. And as I said before, there'll be an announcement first part of this week, and I'm hopeful that we'll have a bill that is 678, that is Senator Robinson's bill, and on the governor's desk for signature by March 7th. That is the goal.
Thank you. Okay, we have about 20 minutes left, so I'm going to read the last 3 questions I have up here. Are we appealing the classifications on our property on the map as high, medium, low, or are we appealing the accuracy of the map as a whole?
We're repealing the map, so there will be no classifications.
I think they're saying, are we appealing? If we're appealing. I think that question's somewhat been answered.
You can do both.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Try and reduce it from a high to a medium, and also say camp is just focused in the east. So I would do both.
Earlier, I thought you said there wasn't anything we could do on property.
If they made mistakes, like, I'm gonna point out that there. Yeah, the swimming pool is in the area. Part of their explanation is, well, embers can travel 1.5 miles, so a fire can start from, a mile down the road, so, we're gonna classify you high no matter what. I'm still gonna fight it. Saying that, their base dating is wrong, and if mine's wrong, it's gotta be that way on the whole map.
Yeah. Sorry, I didn't see you standing up, but go ahead. Actually, hold on, let me get the microphone in your hand.
I've got a real elementary question. They need a work lowering out of the barn, but I see all these really beautiful maps. And I'm wondering, who is patient 0? Where did this all start? And who commissioned the study?
So it was, well, I mean, technically, it started in 2020 when we had 4 wildfire bills bills that then turned into an omnibus bill with a work group that I led. But the two bills were my bill was very, very different. It was incentive based. It did not have mandates. It was all about local jurisdictional control. So your local fire chief was the one who was you were talking to. It was not top down. And then Jeff took over in 2021 and wanted to mandate this on you. Wanted to mandate what we were trying to do was incentivize your ability to go ahead and make your property more fire resilient. And Jeff took over and mandated, as the Democrats do. I know Virgil doesn't want to get too partisan, but it damn well is. And so that is what happened. Jeff Golden.
Thanks, David. Actually, I kind of do want to make it partisan because it really pisses me off. So, sorry, I love you if you're a Democrat too, but this is Democrats own this bill. It just is what it is. Let's see, why does fire intensity get high on one tax lot, change immediately on the next adjacent tax lot, same pasture, vegetation, etc.? Is there for property taxation eventually? I think that just points out the flaw in the map, right? I mean, it's just an overlay. They're not really taking into consideration all of the difference on forest land and the terrain. And frankly, I don't know that they could ever create a map that could do that because they'd have to literally visit every single piece of property and actually do their job. Let's see, how accurate are, I'm not sure what that word is, something in the map. Nothing northwest is zoned high risk. The risk category was based on terrain, weather, vegetation, etc. Is the heavy vegetation skirting Portland, Hillsborough, Scappoose not flammable? Okay, so the question, yeah. Well, and I pointed this out before. This is a shot at Southern Oregon. The red part of the map follows the red part of the state, and I mean that's why it's hard for me not to stand up here and not make it political because it is political. I don't know the answer to that. I would assume I haven't looked at the map that close for the up north because I frankly don't care. But I don't know. Maybe there are some adjacent areas up there that are. Yes. So the question is, what are they trying to accomplish? I think the intent of the whole entire 762 was so the state had a handle on not only where to position the resources, but how to deal with the fire in the places where fire are most prevalent. And the maps did that, but they also went overboard on it, right?
So, well, I mean, essentially what they were, I think the intent was, we spent $300 million on wildfire last year, right? So the intent was to try to make more fire-wise communities, try to make more land more resilient to fire so that those numbers go down. But as I mentioned before, the 82% on federal land, 18% on private, 15% because of federal land. And so, if I may, so to that end, so the solution to this, and I've talked about it before, is what we need to do is and now with the Trump administration, we have opportunities. And more of the 20,000 foot view is we need the Trump administration and the federal government to front load dollars to the USFS and BLM so that we can transition our wildland firefighters into fuel reduction work, which I have a bill in the legislature that does that and makes it, and we're moving that forward this session. And so the Senator Hayden's company. And then we'll also have the opportunity then to have year-round work for these individuals and local logs to mills. We start with our wildland urban interfaces, move our way out, because of, again, the numbers that I said before. Court and I have been working on, for a number of years now, a wildfire training center, where it's standing up. We're standing it up north of Gold Beach. It's perfectly located because it's within just miles of the Silver Fire Scar, the Checo Bar Fire Scar, the Biscuit Fire Scar, which is over 500,000 acres. We'll have our first class, a small class, between 30 and 50 students graduate this fall. To help move all that forward, there's a national organization called CSG West, the Council of State Governments West. And they're out of over 1,000 legislators, because it's all the state legislators from Wyoming to Alaska and Hawaii. They have 8 standing committees, and they only have 16 co-chairs, 8 Democrats, 8 Republicans. I was able to convince them to, because I'm a public safety co-chair, that we need a wildfire and emergency preparedness committee. We got it the week of Thanksgiving, and I was appointed the co-chair of that. So my purpose there will be to raise up the voices of the Western states legislators to our federal delegation to get the Trump administration and Congress to front load the needed dollars to do the fuel reduction work that we need within the WUIs and our federal forest system. Again, bringing along some mills, having year-round work for local individuals back in our communities and back in the woods, while making our communities more fire resilient.
Last written question I have is, after it's built, we have any idea how long it will be before we are required to appear? I'm concerned we won't have time and or money to fight it. I don't know that that might be a question. How much, after they do the appeal, are they gonna have to appear in court?
No.
It depends on how many appeals are filed. They don't have a big staff at this point, and so it could be years before it gets there. And hopefully these gentlemen will fix it before it gets to that point.
Yes, and we will. You just want to get the appeal in, to get in the queue. That is all you need to do. And don't worry about hiring an attorney. Just email Golden and say, and when Alex said, email him in your own words, say, really the main issue is repeal the maps. Move 6, 7, 8 and its components.
When I say email them in your own words, I mean let them have it.
Spoken like a true legislator.
We're gonna have just 1 minute for closing each of them.
We're not quite there yet. You probably have 2 minutes.
I just want to follow up on, I'm the one that asked that last question. You guys are confident that I'm going to appeal this thing tonight, right? And they're not going to call me on the 8th and say, you're coming to Salem.
There's nobody. They couldn't even make the phone call. They don't have anybody there.
Just want to make sure.
Go ahead.
My property complex, sports lenders who want to put ODF and the Calgary Trust.
How is it affecting Calgary Trust? Are they being penalized as well as we are? They're a federal entity, right?
I don't have the answer to that. They're their own nation, and so if their land is forest grazing,
It is.
then it wouldn't. I can't answer that question. You got me.
Well, and then the other half of my property is riparian, as you mentioned, so I don't know how they're calling me a high.
Blow it down.
Yeah. The 200-year-old trees there, I'm just gonna cut them all down, right?
Can I add to this real quick? Just add to it. Just take me a second. Oregon, over 52% of Oregon's
Owned by the federal government.
56%.
Well, I'm just, from what so that's over 50, it doesn't matter, it's a lot. They need to be involved in this, because if they're not the ones putting it on us, this gives more weight to having Trump get in on this, or whoever, he appoints or whatever. But this is ridiculous,
But we need the feds in.
One of the things that was mentioned about the trust and everything, an appeal will make more impact if you bring your consideration to bear on the appeal. Like if you're on a fixed income
You're trying to get the property set up for your kids to get the property, so that's why it's in a trust, and you can't afford to have an attorney represent you. That tugs at the heart. Put that in your appeal.
Yeah. And trust me, we're listening. I mean, your local reps, we understand. I mean, and yeah, that's all I can say. Actually, I'll never ask you to trust the government, but you can trust me. Yes. Hold on, we'll get a microphone to you.
We don't know.
Again, we're,
They don't have the final rules drafted yet.
that's correct. There is no, and again, hopefully we will have this fixed within the month so that there is no need to do the final rules.
We all had our property well before this goes into effect. You can't write a law that's retroactive to make what was legal when we purchased our property, in my case through the VA loan, and then make that retroactively illegal now. And for me, I'm a Vietnam veteran. I'm up in the mountains because I'm a PTSD veteran. I don't belong around people, basically. And I don't deal well with stress. And so they try to put all the stress on me, I'm gonna have to come at them.
I mean, I can't encourage that or discourage that, but you know, things happen.
Hey, on that issue on the trust, you have to have an attorney ratify. We don't?
They'll get it in the queue, they mark the box that you might be securing counsel in the future.
Well, I've also read out through those papers from the, either the fire or the forest, I can't remember which one, that you must have an attorney, not that you may have an attorney.
But the paper only has the box to check May. It just says May on the paper. I know, I did that 9 times.
Put in the appeal, right? Yes.
Why does Jeff Golden's map trump FEMA's map? I bought my home a year ago, and I was at moderate. Most of Douglas County was at moderate. Matter of fact, if I look at the map correctly on the FEMA map, Lee County was red, and Douglas County was moderate, and it switched.
I don't know that I can answer that question either. I mean, that's a federal thing.
Nothing, well, there are very few things that the state can do that can trump federal law, but I don't know that.
I mean, that's a good question, and I think it's probably worth, we have legislative counsel that can answer that question.
I think, and to the gentleman that asked the question before the veterans and for your service, I think these are arguments that if in fact, and we're doing everything we can to make sure that this all goes away, but if in fact it doesn't, and you are having to go to a court case, these are arguments that you have in your court battle.
Okay, so we're up against about 6 minutes left, and I want to give our legislators a chance to close. So, unless there's any more really, really urgent questions that I didn't catch. Okay, I'll start with Al.
So thanks so much for coming out. I think we all know what we need to do. So please, get your appeals in, email Jeff Golden, all of the theoretical problems that are gonna come up when this legislation goes into place. Hopefully we won't have to worry about because we'll have a solution by then. If we don't, we can meet in a month or two and do this all over again and figure out where we're gonna go from there. But for now, don't get too nervous, just get mad. Thank you.
Yeah, go ahead. I like your style, Alec.
Rep. Osborne, thanks for putting this together. Dan Loomis, thanks for being here. All the folks at this table over here that continually donate your time. Thanks to all the patriots in this room that know things aren't quite right in our state. And not just this issue. I respect Rep. Scarlato saying, yeah, we kind of need people's issue. I don't disagree with that. However, serving 6 years as county commissioner and then 2 years in Capitol, I learned a long time ago. Common sense is illegal in the state of Oregon. And that's what we're up against. The hearts of everybody that are here, there's a lot of hurting people on this issue. Our team here, we understand. Virgil said earlier, what keeps us up at night? This is one of many things. The people are looking at the federal government not managing their timber and wondering if their house is going to go up in flames. No fault of theirs, no lack of effort to clear their land and do the right thing and encourage their neighbors and play by the rules and pay their taxes. We do not take that lightly for even a split second. So it's a real honor to be here. Keep the effort going. And Burgess said, trust us if you can, or as you get to know us better. Nothing means more to me than that. And just to simply have your trust and know that we're there every day, every week, trying to do the right thing and fight back against the forces. One of the first things that Senator Smith told me, one of the legislators, he said, one of our biggest jobs is to do everything we can to stop bad bills. One of these days we're going to have a majority, or you're going to get tired of winning, you know what I mean?
I want to thank all of you for coming. I want to thank Donna and Virgil for putting this together. Bob, appreciate you taking the time, putting all this together and your years of expertise in the land use system in Oregon, because the land use system in Oregon is messed up, as you all know. We are fully engaged in this situation. We will fix this problem, and I guarantee you we will do it swiftly. You're going to see, again, at some point early this week, an announcement, and the governor, again, thanks to Virgil alerting Tina on this issue. I get to, Golden's office is right above mine, and so I'm up there often, poking him, saying, listen, we got to do this. And as I said earlier, he went out to dinner with Noah this last Tuesday night, so, to try to move this forward in ways that we can get things done. So I'm hopeful, and I know we will, but thank you for taking the time and being here. Get your appeals in and email Jeff and say, please fix this problem.
Thanks, David. Okay, so I get the last say. So I already thank my staff, but I'm going to thank them again anyway. Thank you guys for all you do, and thank you my other legislators for working with me. It is a great team, and I know we have our challenges ahead of us. But one of the most important things about tonight that I want to make sure everybody's aware of is that our Douglas County Sheriff's Department actually brought a couple deputies down here for us, just in case Golden showed up. So I want to thank them and that. Thanks, guys. We appreciate your service. We love our sheriff and we love our deputies. So thank you very much for that. So in closing, we didn't get to the gun bill part. There's a lot to talk about. We're going to have these guys don't know yet, but we are going to have a town hall coming up, probably mid-session, and we'll make sure everybody's aware so we can actually ask questions about everything, not just fire. So yeah, just so you guys know that's coming. And sorry. That's about all I have tonight. Thank you guys for coming. Thanks everybody for your candor and your forum here, and you guys be safe going home. Thank you.